What's going on? It's your boy Wally, aka Mr. Music is My Business. And my co-host today.
You already know what it is. Puerto Rican Creative. You create, I design. What's up? What's up?
It's your boy Sinister the Entertainer, aka Mr. Sinister Music Group.
Man, well, thank you. This is the Mind Over Men series where we shine a light on men's mental health. We break in the silence on important topics. Today is going to be depression, the silent struggle. And Athena was teasing me that we got to turn up. You got to smile, right? So you should, I don't, when people talk depression, maybe I think it's really misunderstood.
Also, sorry, when it comes to depression, it's like I know exactly how it is and everything else. So it's like I have to smile about it because like you can't. I have to handle it like with like some type.
I think that's a good way. But the thing with Mind Over Men is we kind of do it on men's mental health, and I'm glad you're here because you can shine a light on us, like how women feel about it, right? And then you'll have a better understanding about men. See, depression's most of the time it's misunderstood, especially in men. Why? Because of the stigma of you got to be tough, you have to be macho. There's societal pressures. There's the fear of judgment that men suffer. So we're going to talk about some of the signs and symptoms. We're going to talk about why it's often hidden. And we're going to talk about some cool ways to cope and heal, right? So our last episode was coping with anxiety, right? So it's something that I definitely dealt with. It's rough. And we just talked about what causes it, how do you recognize it, right? And again, some ways to manage it. So today we're going to talk again on depression, how we can recognize it, and how can we address it effectively. It's not a turn down. It's really for educational. And again, we just want to open up the segment. So take us to understanding depression.
So I think a lot of us, in terms when we hear the word depression, we think of somebody being sad, or we think of somebody being in their bed, or maybe excluding themselves from the world, or just not talking, or just being a little bit off. Depression is a lot more than a feeling. It is actually more of a mental health condition, and I know that when you hear that and those three words together, it brings kind of like a bad stigmatism to it.
Yeah, stigma.
Like it brings a bad like sign to it and everything else. And for men, a lot of the time, I know just off of me growing up around men and me like really like having a lot of homies, they're talking about like honestly the fact that they can't be open. And the fact that like if they might be going through like the world of stuff and they ain't got nobody to talk to. And it kind of like I kind of seen what it does for them and stuff like that. It kind of takes like a mental toll. So instead, like I feel like everybody needs to have like a better understanding that depression is more than just a feeling. It's actually deeper than emotion. It's a lot to do with mental. And it ends up taking like more of a physical toll on you too.
Yeah, it has both.
And it's not just for women. The same way women get depressed and emotionally, then it takes a mental toll, and the mental state takes a physical toll. It's the same for men, and it manifests themselves in different ways that we might not even notice.
Yeah.
What are some of the ways that it manifests?
So a lot of the time it can be withdrawing, it can be an overstimulation of feelings, it can be quick to anger, it can be irritation. You can see them in the gym a lot more. That's been my experience. You can see them eating a lot more,
Appetite.
or even sleeping a lot more.
Sleep
or,
was mine always. Though,
or even locking in. Like some men just work.
Yeah.
Some men just straight work, and they don't talk, they don't do anything else. They go to work and they go straight home. So it can manifest itself in a number of ways, actually, in my opinion.
You're right, because they always say that when a guy gets his heart broke, what do they say? See you in the gym, bro. Right? See you in the gym.
See you tomorrow.
See you at work. See you tomorrow. See you at that bag.
Because it kind of leads to that, right? To people saying, I want to level up. So over 6 million men a year experience depression. Most people don't seek help due to the stigma, the fear of judgment, right? You talked about just having the support of other men or other people that you could look up to and feel comfortable sharing your stuff. Yeah. That's not always something. So how do you go about recognizing the signs, Sinister? What are some of the signs? How do you go about recognizing them?
It could show up in different ways. Depression, persistent sadness, or even happiness too.
Yeah, because you fake
it,
right?
Because you could be putting a mask on. Like, somebody, like, they always say, watch out for people who's always happy. Look at
Always
people
smiling,
like
cracking jokes.
Look at people like Robin Williams. You know what I'm saying? He committed suicide because nobody knew he was going through depression.
He always wanted to make other people feel good.
Other people feel good. He always wanted to laugh. Loss of interest in activities, things like if you're a person that like to go out, shoot pool, and you just all of a sudden you're not interested, it's not motivated to go out, something after work. That's a sign, because you have a loss for, you don't want to do anything anymore because depression is taking over. It's affecting your day-to-day life now.
That's true. I heard something where it talked about even kind of being in the business that we're in, right? We're in the entertainment industry, and and balancing things. Like, I think it turns from, there's people that are born that are in it because they have lacked some, or they experience some kind of event, or they'll seek an external validation. And when that validation doesn't meet their expectations or what they thought it is, then they suffer from that, right?
Yeah.
And then there's other people that know how to turn it on and say, you know what, I'm going to have an internal validation inside, and I'm going to say, F everybody else, and I'm actually going to make this happen. And I'll feel validated, even if nobody notices what's going on, even if nobody notices, like, yo, I woke up today and this was the hardest day, right? Athena was saying, like, hey, this was a long day. And most people don't pat you on the back and say, you know what, you did a good job. Because we're just supposed to do that as adults and as men and women, right? Or as, significant others, or parents, or however you want to do it, caretakers. But yeah, you know what, you have to do that, and I think that's okay to tap yourself on the back and say, you know what, girl, you've been working hard. You that thing, right? You that thing, like, right?
Did that.
Out here, you're getting it. You're working. You've been booked, right? You've been doing a lot of modeling. So just to use it as an example.
Yeah, I've been doing like 10+ hour days every single day, no days off.
But that's the thing is, if you have an internal validation, you say, if this is amazing enough for me to do it, then you don't need the external. The world will notice. Like, nobody really it's like hearing like planting a tree. Nobody hears the tree grow, but it grows, right? It starts on the ground. Nobody can even see it. It sprouts. It's real little. You don't even think it is worth much. And like, it's little, and then it looks like a weed, and then eventually it's big. And
a
one
weed
day
is crazy.
You're building, a tree house, and then eventually you can build something. And then you can use it to heat your home or build a foundation with. So I've noticed a lot of times growth, even struggle, is not necessarily loud. So that's why I feel like it's important. I have you guys. I'm not gonna lie. I have you guys. I have my Urban Grind family. Like, so if I'm feeling out of balance, or if I see somebody's out of balance, we generally pick up on each other's energy and we'll talk about it. Even if it's nothing you could do about it, but just talk and laugh.
Yeah, just
and share something.
Sometimes, yeah.
Right. So to me, I've found it, and that's why I thought Mind Over Man was important. It was like, hey, mental health sucks. You know what I mean? It sucks.
And not a lot of people know how to navigate it, nor do they talk about it. And I feel like it's a really big, like, I don't know if people feel like it's a taboo to talk about it, or
of course,
or what. It definitely needs to be talked about more. And I feel like a lot of the men, and this is just in my opinion, as a woman, a lot of the men are emotionally unavailable, and that's what women really seek, is emotional availability. And that's where like that kind of like bridge comes into a lot of scenarios and situations and relationships, partnerships, business, whatever the case may be. Emotionally, you guys would never taught how to, or you guys weren't able to.
Well, it's a thing of vulnerability, right? So the more you speak about it, then you're more vulnerable. If you have a partner, then them details and that information is more intimate. So you're even more vulnerable now. If I share this with you, is it going to be weaponized? And people tend to do that. I don't want to make it general. You're gonna want.
Yeah. The weaponizing is
when somebody gets upset, and because women are more emotional and men are more logical. I told you this because I felt like, hey, you're my partner, right? And it makes sense. But because of women are emotional and they're thinkers, they're the portal to the universe, right? She's gonna come back and say, well, the reason he thinks this is, or I feel like that, and sometimes it's weaponized. Yeah. So it's a very delicate thing that you walk, right? It's a fine line, and there's no general be all. I think it's gonna depend on both parties. That's been my experience. You're gonna have different experiences with different people. They're gonna bring different things out of you. So you just want to look on it, and the thing is, right, how much is enough information that I can share where I can feel comfortable? I feel like it's trust and vulnerability is like money. I can't loan you more if I can't lose it. So if I give Sinister $500, I gotta be prepared like I'll never get it back.
Yeah.
And I have to be okay with that. So it's, if I can't afford 500 and I'm good with maybe just maybe losing 150, then I give him 150. Information, trust, vulnerability, loyalty, all this stuff is the same thing. You gotta only, I believe, for self-preservation, and maybe that makes me selfish, I think you have to understand how much you can give out and be okay if you lose it. Because what is it? It's a gamble if that will be used against me. I've seen men do it.
Yeah.
I thought about this today. I was driving in the car and I says, you know what? Isn't it funny when they try to stab you with the fork that you fed them from your table at? You know what I mean? They ate at your table, and the very fork they used to eat, they try to stab you with it. They try to stab you with the thing that a tool you gave them to feed themselves. Whether it was knowledge, information, support.
Right.
And those generally be the people that ate at your table. You don't have any enemies that's strangers. Your enemies are people that you know, or you call them friends once.
I have a question.
Yeah. I don't know if it pertain to
it
depression?
It does pertain.
Okay.
It does pertain to depression. Do you feel like, where does the lack of trust actually start?
Childhood.
Is it no? I know we all know it starts from childhood. If anybody says that it starts from anywhere else but childhood, we need to reevaluate where that goes. But do you think it starts with parents? Do you think it starts with family?
Yeah,
Do you think it starts with that first love that broke up with you when you were 10? Like,
zero,
I've heard some guys say that. Like, I got my heart broken when I was 10, so I'm
0 to 7 is when you're in that mode where you're very moldable. But depending on your household, your environment, what's normal to your home, what it is, those are just relationships. So you're gonna have a relationship. Who's the most important? Your girl, it's your father, right, and your mother. So you're gonna picture all men and women. You're gonna hold to those standards or the lack of, right? So it's just a relationship. What are you dealing with? A personality. A personality has morals, it has values, but theirs are different. Their normal is not our normal, and that's where we have to meet at. And that's the problem, is that we realize that we're not really raised the same. Doesn't mean you can't cohabitate, it can't work, but we're just not the same. I think that's the strength, is recognizing our differences, and then we can work. Like, who cares if we both like cheeseburgers and popsicles and we like to smoke, or we like to drink? Okay, that's great. You could do that with a lot of people.
Right.
But the challenges are always going to come in the differences, right? The challenges are going to come in, okay, I have an anxiety disorder. I have an avoidment. I think I have an avoidant thing. I think that's my thing, where, like, if it goes too good, you kind of avoid it. You worry that, hey, something's going to mess up. It can't be too good.
I'm always waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Right. Well, that's a different thing.
I don't avoid it, but I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop so that I could, like, see, like, dang.
I've overcome it. But that was something that I realized you have to look at it. If you have I didn't like labels, but if you were actually able to label it and say, okay, then you know how to, like, it's like a cold. You say, how I got a sore throat and I got a runny nose, then you'll know what medicine to get. So a lot of this stuff is looking at it and looking at the childhood, because that shapes your personality. So all three of us might have PTSD, but based on our childhood and other genetics, right, and how we were raised, we're all gonna deal with it differently.
Yeah.
And I heard a story. It was a guy, Jim Rohn. I love Jim Rohn. I listened to the story, and the guy said he sent 2 salesmen to a town where people didn't wear shoes. And the first guy called him, and he was like, I ain't going to make no money here. Like, they don't even wear shoes. Like, what are you doing? I'm never going to make it. I am not going to survive. Right. The second guy calls him and says, hey, man, this is a great opportunity. We got a great market here. None of these people wear shoes. And once they like the shoes, I'll be able to sell everybody's shoes. Right. Same problem, 2 different people.
2 different perspectives and outlooks.
So there's a point where your childhood is it puts an impression on you, it shapes you, but you can't use that as an excuse as an adult. We can't say, oh, I didn't get enough hugs, or I didn't have a great relationship with my mother. Then there's an opportunity where you become an adult and you say, all right, this is something I got to work on. It's like people that eat sweets and they gain weight. You're like, all right, this is a thing. I know I like to eat. Like, I better work out or go to the gym. It's something that we have to recognize about ourselves, internal, mentally, physically, and say, how do I combat this? We can only do that if we be real with ourselves.
No, but there are people that are real with themselves, understand that they have an issue, see the issue, and it's just like,
well, that's then they're at that level where they're not really ready to address it. You can't force them.
No, but I feel like if you pushing 30,
it's even like it doesn't matter. Like even if it's,
I'm so sorry. Am I wrong?
Even if it's an addiction.
Am I wrong for saying that?
If I don't want to quit smoking cigarettes, then no matter what you tell me,
no, but
I'm
I
not
feel
gonna
like
quit.
We're not talking about cigarettes.
It's an addiction. It's about habits.
Yeah, but like I feel like at a certain age, don't you like stop
Age
and say,
has
hey,
nothing to do with maturity. Again, it depends how that person was raised. Age is not significant to men. Some people are babied. Some people are detached from reality. Okay,
completely,
a lot of those
completely, so young too.
Detached
Jesus,
from reality.
so nonchalant.
They don't have a real idea on how like this world works or how to work.
No.
So you're dealing with a lot of different stuff, and that's, I mean, depression's a big thing. I think a lot of people suffer from it, and they're not ready to address it. I didn't like the title. I didn't like to say I got PTSD, and I like to say I have anxiety. But you know, when not I get it, you laugh at it. You're like, all right, I know how to combat it. I know what to do. It's like having an allergy. When John he's like, all right, I'm gonna take Benadryl because I know if I eat. Am I lying, John? That way, if I eat, I know how to combat it because I need an antihistamine. So it's the same thing. If we talk about these topics, we're open to it. It might not be for us. You might say, I don't have depression, but somebody I love does. And I might have to interact with them. And what's a safe way where I can at least have that conversation? We're not doctors. We're not pretending to be. We're just having a conversation, and we're saying you start at the hardest thing first. And men's mental health is the hardest because women, like you said, they have more of a support circle. It's more socially acceptable. There's less stigma.
Okay. So then if... Back to what you said earlier, women are more emotionally wired, right?
Of course.
We're more emotionally available, and we have tend to been taught how to maneuver our emotions. Well,
how to get what you want.
No. We have been taught to how to maneuver our emotions. Believe it or not, whether a woman tells you or not, they have been taught how to control those emotions to a certain degree. Whether they want to or not, whether they exercise that or not, that's on them. But
the word control is completely subjective, though.
Yeah.
Your control might be different from my control.
Yeah, it depends. And like I said, like somebody's control could be like not popping you in the mouth when you say something. Another person's control could be
tried
like.
Tried that.
Another person's control could be like just walking away from the situation, not even saying anything at all. But in some sense of form, they have control. They've been taught control on some level. That's what I say. On some level, every woman has been taught how to control. Now, as a woman, how can we help men open up in a different sense to be able to not help them learn how to control their emotions, but even be able to communicate about them? The first step is being able to actually feel comfortable enough to communicate. So how do we?
I can't speak for all men, but I think the first thing is we got to have a realistic idea of what we're working with. Now, you gave me two scenarios. The first one you said is I hit you in the mouth, and the other scenario is I walk away. So one is violence, where if I were to punch you in the mouth, I would be in trouble, right? If you were to, because they're like, it's a woman.
I'm saying like some women's control is different.
But the other one is that you walk away. Neither one of those are of anything that's productive. So if I know that if I were to have a fallout with you and you're either going to try and punch me in the mouth or you would walk away, it'd be something that's extreme, and that response would be done out of emotion, right? Where I would have a response, I would hope to, right? And I've had to work on it to control it like everybody else, where as we grow up, our thing is to respond and not react. So if you punch me in the face, a reaction might automatically be is to
tap.
Right. Yeah. But not have to think is like if I have to respond, I might be like, all right, this is crazy. Like this is not what's going down. And you have to respond to it. Right? So or react to it and not respond but not react to it, not do it out of emotion. So if I know you're wild and you're gonna punch me, then I'm not even gonna be able to open up to you, and I'm not gonna feel comfortable dealing with you on that level because I already know where you're gonna take it. Now, if you show me, and the longer you're with someone, the more they know about you, the more they're going to be judgmental, okay? Because you have a relationship. So now if I see you go from responding aggressively to responding maturely and say, you know what, I'm going to respond, I'm going to react to this. If I see that growth in you, I'm going to feel more confident in sharing with you and communicating with you. You know what that is? You want the truth, you got to be ready for the whole truth. And you know what? I've seen women take something and make more of it. If I say I like vanilla, I don't mean I like vanilla with sprinkles and a cherry. It's just vanilla. Right. And then you might feel other ways and other things may have told you it's really chocolate swirl and with caramel, but there's no. So I think you have to listen. You have to listen to that person, right? And so if you're listening, you would have heard I told you clearly vanilla. And we have to deal with each other on what I spoke and what I felt was truth and not what you feel.
I feel like a lot of the time it gets messed up on that aspect because they're telling you and trying to come to you, at least in my experience, that's what I always try to keep in mind in my relationships or just my personal, like just dealing with men in general, even on a friendship level. It's being completely open-minded and non-judgmental about any of their situations. Understanding that like they can like I of course
open-minded
I of course
limits.
have no I have no not with me I of course have my opinions on it. I have my opinions, but I keep but I am one of those that I can keep my opinion. No, I can keep my opinions to myself. I usually do keep my opinions to myself unless they ask. No,
if you hold it in, it has
no, because the way you are has nothing to do with me. How you react to me does.
How you respond.
How you respond to me because of the way you are does. So we're not going to talk about the way you are. We're not going to also talk about why you like. We're not going to talk about why you did what you did. We're going to talk about how it escalated to that.
Be based on the person we're responding to. So if I know you're a certain way, I'm going to have to respond to you in a different manner than I may with someone else. So really, the response you're getting is kind of be based off the energy that you're giving.
Just treating them accordingly.
You gotta treat them accordingly. So I'm gonna respond to you the way you respond to me, right? So you want to go high, you want to go low, but we can't do that because that would make me emotional. If I stay in the middle and say, you know what, this is how I'm gonna respond. That's how I deal with this situation. Well, no matter if she's yelling or she's happy or sad, this is how I move. Then I'm not giving you the power to manipulate me to do it. And what do you would you respect me if you can easily manipulate me? Not in the long run. You subconsciously would never respect me because you know how to play me. But if that's not my true self, I'm just being manipulated.
Some women don't even want to. I'm sad that you see it like that because, as a woman with like pure intentions towards everybody that I come across, even like just my friends in general, I'm never gonna try to use your emotions or what you've gone through or stuff like that.
Unintentionally, you are gonna do it.
So
why? Because that's what you know about the person.
But I would not, no, but like, I'm not going to treat you no different. I'm not going to even talk to you no different. I'm not even going to act a certain way. When situations arise, like, I'll peep you, but like, I'm not going to sit there. I'm not going to sit there. I'm not going to sit there and be like, oh, you're effed up. You're effed up for doing it like this, or you're like, or standoffish towards you. No, like, the way you move is the way you move.
Let's say that's true. Once that happens, the next time something else happens, I guarantee that other thing's going to come up. Because what it did is set a precedent. You got to talk about it. You got to kind of
Well, if it's a pattern, then yeah, it needs to be addressed.
You got to talk about it.
Yeah.
Well, it only becomes a pattern because you never spoke about it. If you're uncomfortable the first time it happened, then the sixth and seventh time, you're really not going to like it. And you're letting that person set a precedent of what they're going to do. So, like, you got to address it. You got to talk about it. And if you don't talk about it, I've suffered. I had a long relationship. I suffered by not talking about stuff. The longer you are with someone, the more things will build up.
Do you think that has a lot to do with the depression too? Is the build up of things?
I didn't think to connect it, but absolutely, because if I can't be my full self, if I don't have 100% battery or me, how can I give you energy and the job and everything else, right? It's all sucking me dry because it's like having a portable charger. If you don't have it charged before you go out, it's not going to give everybody the full power.
Do you feel like a lot of men try to fit into a character or try to put on a persona that they can't maintain?
I don't know. I can't say all men. I think.
Do you feel like that's why there's a buildup of energy that they really like?
Well, let's go with the first question. Is they put on a persona they can't maintain? I think that men are probably finding themselves. Depends on the men. Some men know who they are. They woke up this morning and they are clear on who exactly they are and what their mission is. I think the only people that are not sure are the people that haven't found their purpose yet.
Okay.
They haven't found themselves in their purpose, because if once you know your purpose, you're like, I'm going to South Side. That doesn't mean I don't want to go up north right now, because it's out of the way. It's not in my best interest to do it. So what happens is you have to put on a persona. because you're not really sure what direction you're going. You're just trying to fill it out. Like, oh, this makes me happy. Like, she would like it if I was like this. But the next person would enjoy this in me. Maybe all that is real you, but what's the best you? You want the best of someone. You don't want somebody doing something every day they don't like, because eventually, I promise you,
it's gonna fold.
Up.
It's gonna
fold. And when it does,
leak.
it's not gonna be pretty. And I'm not speaking for all men. I'm just saying, logically and in my experience, that's what it's been. So when you don't totally know your path, yes, you're gonna deal with people because they don't know themselves. How could they give them true you? I've seen it. I've seen these people switch up. I've seen them grow and through different phases. That's why if you're authentic, you'll never lose. And people could love me, hate me, but I am authentic. And most of the time it falls in one category or the other. You know, so that is the thing. That is the price you pay for authenticity. Is you might know all that stuff about him, but then you might not like him because of it. Because eventually, in the back of your mind, it'll build up over time. You're like, man, this happened, and you're gonna think about it. You're not gonna think about where he was in his life when he did it. You're gonna think about he did this. Just like men, when we look at a woman's past, we're not gonna think, well, she did this and she did that. She had a hot girl summer because this guy broke her heart. She's gonna think like, let me start doing the numbers.
Dang,
right?
am I weird then?
No, you're not.
Am I weird because I'm the one?
Question.
Because I'm that type of person that's like, if they do some like messed up stuff, I'm like, damn. But like, what have they gone through in their life to make them like that?
Who cares? That's not your job.
But like, that's the way I think about it. You feel me? Am I weird for that?
No,
like,
your job. You're just a healer. You like to heal people. Your job is not to fix another adult. Your job is not to fix another adult. If you're seriously working on you, then guess what? You don't have time to pull over. If we're racing and you're broke down and because you're broken, I might have time to give you a ride. I don't have time to pull over, pop the hood, change your tire, give you oil, put gas in it, because now I'm slowing down my mission where I could just put, you could get in and move a little bit quicker at my speed. And the thing is, maybe it's just not worth what you've built. I've had to walk away from stuff. I walked away from business, a facility, everything. It wasn't worth what it was going to take to continue to do that. Yeah. And relationships and people are like that. I am at the point that you really got to have a handful of people that are of value. You don't need a lot. There's people that have a lot of people that are very insecure. They're seeking an external validation that is not real. You have only a handful of people or they're alone, those people are dangerous. And that's where depression is. You don't know, are they depressed? Are they dealing? I'm sure they are.
Yeah.
But what makes them champions is they got up and they went and did it.
Yeah.
And sometimes you got to talk to yourself. You got to be like, bro, you're that dude. You're that dude. Like, you woke up.
It's okay to sit there in the morning and be like,
you have to.
I'm that.
I have to remind myself, like, yo, you're a veteran. Like, you've been doing this 22 years. Like, you're that dude. You went to school. You invested. You grinded. You're worth it. Look, once you fail 1,000,000 times, you're going to earn your right to succeed. I heard Jim Rohn say it was the rawest thing. Once you have failed over and over, you earn the right to succeed. So it's not by accidents, because you made it here. And that's what succeed is. Could be the small things. It'd be getting out of bed on time and not staying there for like 20 more minutes. It could be knowing how to talk to people and being patient when you have an issue that you're dealing with. There's small wins all day long that you're dealing with. And that's where with I have depression, it bothers me. But that's my thing, is I do the small wins all day long. Right? And because I'm opening up and I understand relationships, I understand equity, I understand it like the long game. I always did. That's why I've been doing this for 22 years. I understand that my investment is always in the people and the relationships I have with them. It's not the mics and it's not the thing, but it's the people that do it. And that is the same in your life. If that's that person that you sleep with or your significant other, your business partner, whatever, you got to think about the equity and the relationship you built. Because you can always upgrade. You might, upgrade cameras. You might start another business, but the equity you have in people is the most important. And you only get that true equity by showing your true self. But if you don't know your true self, how are you going to get it? And once you've worked with someone or been with someone a long time, you're going to get a different version. Why? Because I grew up. Yeah. Like, I grew up on television. 15 years, you can play the thing. I grew up on and off camera. Wasn't on camera a lot before, but we've grown up. John too. John would host and stuff. He wear shirt and tie. We grew up doing it.
I didn't even know that. Wait, I gotta go back. I gotta go back to the episodes.
You see me gain weight, lose weight, no beard, mustache, whatever, right? Different stuff. I don't want to lie. I don't choose to lie because it's right there in your face. You can do it, and that's okay. And the depression, I think, how I'll tie it in is It's treatable, and like anything else, you got to recognize it, be honest with yourself, and address it. And you know what? You're not going to get it in one time. There's not going to be no magic moments like, boom, I got it. I'm healed. Or I got this handled. It's going to be small things. It's going to be small, just like the gym. Like, you're going to hurt, and then you're going to take a break, and you go back. It's just like the gym. It's working out.
And then one day you're going to wake up.
It's an exercise. So this ties into, like, treatment options and coping strategies with depression. Therapy. Cognitive behavioral therapy helps people refrain from negative thought patterns. How you think about yourself, and develop healthier coping mechanisms. How you talk to yourself is the most important thing, no matter who else you talk to in your life. I don't care if it's your significant other or not, because if you poison yourself, if you're poison, you're not feeding yourself that good thing, you have nothing to give out. So who you are and that internal voice that you battle every day is the most important voice.
What's the stigma behind therapy in men?
You know what? I think, but again, it's vulnerability. It's if you weren't shaped like that, if you didn't grow up my family didn't. I wish my dad was up here. He runs in and out. If I didn't grow up in a touchy, huggy, feely family, like my dad wasn't like that. My grandfather was, but my dad wasn't. My mom really wasn't either. My grandparents did that. So my son, he's 11. I'm like that. I hug on him, kissing him. He's tried to get rid of me before we get too close to school because he didn't want him to see me hugging on him. But I'm like, I'm always gonna love on him. I realized there's something that I lacked, that I was envious as a kid. I seen other people have that, and I just want to know what it was. And I said, you know what, my child is never gonna go without that. I am gonna be like that because I love it. And you know what, he is like that, and he treats you teach strangers and adults and other people like that. He's very respectful. You guys meet him. He's honest. He's a little person. I'm training it. I'm building it. I can't wait till he's 15. He's got an attitude and be like, all right, son, this is how you talk to people. I've been talking to him like that since he was small. But guess what? Not all of us got that training. We didn't all get that opportunity. So if we do that now, then that's how you do it. And how do you do that? You surround yourself with people that do it. You look at videos, you look at it, and you try it yourself. And if I say, hey, good morning, sir, how you doing? And you surround yourself with other people, then guess what? It naturally rubs off. It'll rub off. So find people that are going to rub off good things on you.
You feel like the environment shapes it.
I feel the responsibility of shaping an environment here in the studio, of shaping a vibe or a thing in it to say, hey, this is what we can do. And I'm not perfect. I've been through this thing, but I'm always about moving us forward. And what I do is I try to invest in everybody to make something worthwhile. Let's make it happen. And a lot of times just talking with you guys is better. Yeah. Just figuring it out. And that's why I kind of leave it open. It's no big I, small you. I want everybody to have input. And what that is, that's therapy. This is my therapy. When I come and talk on the mic and I come talk to and we talk in the office and we talk shit, this is my therapy. Because what it does, that stranger doesn't know me. He doesn't understand the context of what it is. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Just like if you had a real estate attorney and you brought him for traffic, he could do it, but that's not his native environment. That's not his specialty.
Right.
And I think we understand each other. We're creating because we're all in the same. We're in the entertainment industry. Different roles, different things behind the camera, in front of the camera. We all have similar understandings, but different. We have different perspectives. What does that do? That allows us to understand each other's perspective, which allows you to work with people. And this, and that's you have to do it regardless. If they're a client, a person you like, maybe it's a family member. You got no control. You can't pick your family, right? And you're in control. You can't pick your relatives. Can't pick your relatives.
So what
I'm saying is
can't pick who you're blood related to. But
I'm really picky about the people I let on the team. Yeah. And that's why you see turnover. You see different people because I want to keep that good energy. I'm responsible for that good vibe. And because one person, one thing will poison everything. And you know what? They might not even be a bad person. They might be suffering from depression. I've seen they might be suffering for something. Yeah. I don't have the time to fix that. I have the time to, if you want to progress, we can move
He's not
forward.
A healer, guys.
He's
not a healer. He's not a fixer. He's not a Bob the Builder.
You want to get a bag. You want to up your game. You want to be better. I will do it. That is a healing. How do you heal? Do better. Do better than where you were. Because you know what? If you're in the same place for 3 years, you will get depressed. If you don't level up, if you don't reach your goals, that is the most depressing. So what is more depressing? Going out on the limb and going for your dream, or never trying it at all and not getting it. I've failed more times than anybody I've known. Hundreds of times, been told no, been slammed. It didn't even matter because we got enough wins that it like nobody's gonna even think about that. I asked my son that. We went and we looked at the trophy case in here. There's 26, 28 trophies, and I said, I've lost hundreds of times, and I says, but I got 28 trophies. I said, son, am I a winner or am I a loser? I have 400 losses and let's say 22 wins. Am I a winner or am I a loser? And he says, you're a winner. And I says, why? He says, because you got the trophies. So who remembers what makes the biggest impact? It's the wins.
Yeah.
And that's a child's perspective. And it's the most real and authentic perspective. And we have to be okay with that. I think we have to go back and think like a children. Because when you're a kid and you say, man, I can fly, that kid really believes he can fly. So when I come out and say I could be a director, I can make the best videos, I can make the best content, I really believe that. Why? Because I have that childlike ability inside of me still. Yeah. When you become an adult, people tell you, no, stop, don't do that. And we put all these rules and then we wonder why we can't think outside the box. I don't want to grow up. I want to be me when I grow up. I want to be me when I grow up. I don't want to grow up. I want to have that gift that I feel all of us here can do anything we want. Yeah. Why? Because it starts here. We just talk to ourselves. So that's our therapy, right? I'm not big on antidepressants, but it is part of some people's plan if it works. And the reason I'm not big is everyone has a different reaction to it.
We all have a different hormonal balance.
Right. We have different reactions and our age and everything. So I'm not big on it. But one thing I did research is cannabis. Cannabis as a complementary treatment is a great option for depression. And there's actually recommended strains. So I got the strains. Sativa dominant strains are uplifting and energizing. Ooh. So your Jack Her is known for clear-headed and uplifting effects. Your Sour Diesel is a classic strain.
I love me some sour.
It boosts your energy and your focus. It's called Green Crack. Green Crack provides a euphoric, it's a motivational lift. So this is something that want to uplift and you want to energize. So then you got your hybrids. So if you need something that's going to help you balance these effects, you have a Blue Dream. It offers relaxation without heavily sedating you, so you're not going to fall asleep. All right, and it promotes creativity. I love Blue Dream. Pineapple Express, uplifting and energizing. It's great for daytime use. You're going to meetings, you're moving around. These are great strains. And then you move into the indica dominant. Some favorite. People I know that are hyperactive, I won't say they're in the room, but they're hyperactive. They can smoke, and I will be down and sleeping, right? I'll be like tired and knocked out, and they'll just be normal. They'll just like balance them. So depending on where you're at, everybody's different. So you want a Granddaddy Purple. It's known for anxiety and improving your sleep. Granddaddy Purple is an indica dominant strain.
Can I say the last one?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh my goodness, this is one of my favorites. Northern Lights. Northern Lights, man. It's supposed to ease the tension and promote positive mood change. And since it's an indica, you already know that you're going to be mellowed out. You're going to be in the couch, be ready for a nice little snack, a movie, and to really be going to bed.
And remember that your effects are going to vary based on the individual, your tolerance, your body chemistry. So start low and go slow is what they say. All right? It's a great thing. I say try it. If you can drink beer and you could do other stuff, you'll be all right. Smoke something. Get a gummy. Try something. If you're depressed, what else you got to lose? You might as well try something.
Just stay within cannabis.
Yeah, stay within cannabis.
That's what we recommend. Heavy. We do not recommend anything else.
No.
We do not.
No. So we go into lifestyle changes, coping strategies, build a routine. If you got a structure, if you wake up at the same time every day, work out, exercise, journal. People write down their thoughts. I kind of focus it more on like the business and keeps, like you said, you throw yourself into something and connect with loved ones. Just call them, tell them you love them. They're not going to be here forever. Value these moments because kids are only little for so long. People are only here for so long. The elders only going to be here for so long. We have to enjoy it. These things in our life that are beautiful in these relationships. What's some key takeaways, Athena?
So key takeaways just for today that you guys need to just remember is that depression is more than a feeling. It is definitely a mental condition, but it is not a bad thing. It is not a good thing. It is just something that a lot of us do have and a lot of us do struggle with, especially during the winter time. Seasonal depression is a huge thing, and it varies between person, mindset, as well as your environment that you continue to maintain yourself in. Always try new coping mechanisms, always try new ways of improving yourself, whether it's to journal, write. Some people are into music, listen to music, go to the gym, take a walk, take your dog on a walk, brush your cat, something. But don't stay stuck. Don't stay stagnant, and always try to continue to move forward.
Look out for the signs.
Yep.
Yep, and always stay aware of the people that are around you, especially the ones that appear overly happy, and you know that they just went through like a little mellowed out phase. The ones that are always super to themselves, super quiet, spacing out.
Be aware.
Yeah, just be aware. It's little tics, even the hands, stuff like that. So
I want to give
them
them some support too. I want to let them know. National Suicide Prevention Hotlines, 1-800-273-TALK. That's 1-800-273-8255. They got a crisis text line. You can text. You can text HOME, HOME, to 741-741. You can visit urbangrindtv.com for more resources and support. I think just care, right? Care about other people, pay attention, see what they're going through. You know what? Be kind to a stranger.
Yeah, it's
Be
free.
kind to people on the street. It costs you nothing.
Actually, I have a really deep question, right? And this is something that I've always actually wondered, just as a woman, for a man that's already currently depressed, already currently in a state where he feels, okay, for sure. And I don't doubt that, and that's kind of sad to think about. Anyways, for men that are already currently in a depressive state or in a state of feeling stuck, stagnant, in a hole, don't know where to go, or just feel kind of hopeless, what are some things that...
Get a mentor.
Well, for those people that can't get a mentor...
Follow somebody online that's a mentor. You need a mentor. If you don't have somebody to mold yourself around, to build yourself, somebody that says, hey, I was here and I got here. I started here and I got here. Like if you're a boxer and you started out working and the guy's a world champion, you might not know them in person, but you can follow their stories. You can look online. Get a mentor because it reminds you that it's possible. Like somebody got out and did it and created it. It's possible. That's what you need. Because you might not have the self-motivation to do it yourself. If you're lucky to have a mentor in person or something that you can develop with, have somebody that's going to talk life into you. Somebody that's going to speak and say, you know what, I know what you're going through today. And you know what, you got to get your ass out of bed anyways. That's what I tell them. Like, I'm
You've
like
done that to me.
Yes.
You've done that to me. He's done that to me a few times. I'm not going to lie. Has he done that for you too?
I get well-being checks.
Yes.
You know what? I've had that. I have some friends that do that for me. Every now and then they'll be like, hey, yo.
If you hadn't heard from me in a certain amount of time, hey, good.
I'm going to shake you up because I don't want you guys just here to do it. You could do it anywhere. I want to do it and I want to improve our lives and other lives around it. And I want to tackle it. And if you guys are healthy and happy, then everybody's winning. And if we do it, that's wealth. You want to talk about wealth? People think wealth is money. Wealth is not. It's positive mental health and good, amazing relationships and bonds.
You know what?
That's positive mental. That is wealth. That will give you more than money will ever provide. And that's why it's important. And our next episode is the pressure to provide. How societal expectations on men as providers impact mental health. That's the very thing we're talking about. Who we want to be. We have a pressure. We have to bring the bag home to bacon. Not saying that women don't work, but in this 2025, you need two households have to work. Two people have to work if you want a good household.
Right.
And it's hard to bring money in
stable
unless
household.
one, it makes a lot more money than the other one can stay home. They can take care of the kids or vice versa, right? But the median income is supposed to be like 60,000+, where a lot of people don't make that. And then if you get into cultural demographics and you want to talk about like what different minorities average and make, it's like half that. So the odds are stacked against you. It's very difficult to be a person, to be a human, to be a person in 2025. Not only you put the men and you put everything else behind it. Now, if you're in the entertainment industry, even tougher, right?
You have a persona to keep up.
You have a public persona that you keep up. You're like, I don't want to be working at Whole Foods and then they run into me and they're going to put me on blast because they have social media. But
I've had people literally tell me, hey, you can't tell anybody I'm like this. Like what? Like like a genuine person, like a nice person, nice-minded person. Well, I do this for a living, and I post like this, and I make this type of music, or I do this type of photography and stuff like that.
I say be wary of those people.
And it's like I just have to. He's like, I have to definitely just like I don't want nobody knowing like I'm like that.
Inauthentic life. You're living an inauthentic life.
But some people like to seem harder than what they are, only because they've been. Well, if I understand if you're going through a certain industry, like let's say a rapper, right? Ain't nobody gonna take a rapper serious if he looking like a simp. You feel me?
I disagree. There's been some crazy
No.
stuff. That's a whole nother episode. That's a whole other episode.
No.
So make sure you stay connected with us on social media at
Sorry,
Urban
we got
Grind
off
TV.
topic.
Visit us at urbangrindtv.com for more episodes. More episodes of Mind Over Man, where the healing begins. I hope you guys enjoy it. I think it's big. I appreciate you guys co-hosting with me today, having this topic, hearing different opinions. You can follow me at Urban Grind TV on all social media, and of course, urbangrindtv.com. Where can they find you at?
And you already know, Puerto Rican.creative, you create our design on Instagram. And if you need makeup services, mua.pr.creative. You already know. I do not take complaints. Keep those to the left right there.
And she got them football squares. She got them squares.
Okay.
That they need to
You can find me at sinistermusicgroup.com. That's SINISTA musicgroup.com. All social media links, all bios, EPKs are there.
Man, shout out to my man John D behind the camera, Christy working the board. Man, until next week, don't forget, you can't make money excuses at the same time.